Hello everybody, I wanted to show you how it's going, and it's going really, really well. I'm so pleased that already, at this stage, I can have the gate open and know that the other three dogs don't wish the puppies any harm. The puppies incidentally are, sorry it's a bit dark, light on. The puppies over there, and I have got half an eye on the other dogs, so that I can tell them not to eat Winty's food. We all went into the basement for dinner. Winty ate a little bit and then got conflicted and came back upstairs to be with her puppies so she didn't finish her dinner. Having said that, she had a massive lunch. She was a little bit, I'm not sure if I want to, Roo, sit, Roo, good dog. She was a little bit not hungry for the first couple of days, but now she's fallen into a good rhythm. Good dog, Sadie. And I just wanted to give myself a little pat on the back that I can feed one dog and tell all the other dogs to leave her food alone. Yay me. Hello puppies. Hello puppies. Aren't they sweet? Look at their little round tummies. White lozenges on their heads. So sweet. Here you go. I had a hell of a day. We went out and Sadie decided to hunt squirrels. Didn't want to get back in the car. So I got in the car, put all the heaters on because the other dogs were wet and shivering, especially poor little Roo. You walked 6 miles and got soaked. I had to give her my coat. So by that stage I was freezing and I waited and waited and waited, and Sadie just wouldn't come back. She found a particularly delightful squirrel and a whole lot of rabbits. So my job then was to let any passing dog walker know that the dog wasn't on her own. She just wasn't coming back. And I just patiently waited till she'd finished. I even tried driving the car off a little bit. Absolutely no reaction at all. But after about 40 minutes, she finally got tired enough and wet enough and worried enough to come over and hop in the car. And my friend whose dog's on walk, he said, "You must have wanted to wring her neck." And, well, actually, what's the point? She was just being a dog. She got what I call squirrel brain. Okay, now you can have it. Okay, Sadie. There you go. So polite. Yeah, I told her she could have it. I had to push the bowl over so she was really sure she was allowed. Hello, Roo. Anyway, true to form, eventually Sadie did come back and jump in the car, and I didn't want to wring her neck. When dogs hunt, or some dogs are obsessed with balls, some dogs are obsessed with playing with other dogs, some dogs like to hunt, but nearly all dogs have one fatal flaw, one thing that will make them utterly ignore you. And you just have to hold strong and wait till they come back. On the good side, I knew Sadie knew where I was, and I could see her periodically sniffing in and out of the woods after a squirrel. I'm just grateful that by the time her brain had got into such a hunting frenzy she couldn't even hear me. I was already back at the car and I could start it up, get the heaters on. Roo was wet to the skin and shivering, wrapped her up in my coat, and just made sure that when other dog walkers came past I let them know that Sadie wasn't actually on her own. I was waiting for her to finish. And then of course when she did come back, because most people by that time would be thoroughly pissed off because that's what humans are like, when she did come back I made a lot of her and I gave her a whole treat stick in several pieces, and I made a really big fuss of her. There's not a lot of point in, putting a lot of effort into getting your dog back to you, and then because you can't control your emotions, then being cross with the dog when they do come back to you. But look at this. Winty's utterly confident that Sadie means her puppies no harm, which I already knew. But even Roo's, completely accepting of the puppies. Winty, you're a good dog. You're a good dog. She's now willing to leave them for, up to 10 or 15 minutes and go in the garden for a poop. I don't have to put her on a lead to drag her, out to use the toilet. She's having a good lick. Very happy and contented little puppies with fat tummies, all shiny. So cute. Okay, the one on the right is number 2. I don't know if the camera shows this up well enough, but she's a little bit darker and a little bit bigger. And number 1 is the one on the left. It's a little bit more golden and a little bit smaller. They're so cute. It's a complete myth that when you get your puppy home it's missing its mother. It's not missing its mother, it's missing its litter mates. By 8 weeks old, the mothers are, hovering, but generally not interacting that much. They're just there in case of emergencies. Oh, Winty, are you tired? Hello, Winty, good dog. It's tiring, isn't it? Hello. Hello. I love living with animals. Look at those. Lucy's the only one who's high energy. Everybody else is exhausted after their 6 miles in the rain and then 40 minutes waiting. You can see she's got herself a toy out of the box. She's bringing it over to there, and if I go and sit on the bed now, which I'm about to do, she'll jump up and bring me a toy, and I'll throw it all around the room, and she'll jump onto the bed and bring it back. Hello, Lucy. You've got no manners. You just barge in all over everyone, don't you? You little scruff dog. You see her whole demeanour is much more puppy, much less respectful. Hello, Lucy. Hello, Lucy. Good dog, Lucy. Yay! Clever girl. And Roo, what a nice, patient little dog you are. Lucy, if you walk all over Roo, you're going to get told off. You can see how Lucy's quite happy to invade my space, my personal space. She's quite happy to invade Sadie's personal space, but she won't invade Roo's personal space. Because Roo's got everybody and, all the other animals very well trained not to walk all over her. Which I reckon's fair enough. If I was her size, I also wouldn't want other dogs walking all over me. And a last look at the puppies. There you go, puppies. All fast asleep.